What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of VR365. Welcome to a very special episode of VR365. I gotta tell you, folks, I thought that I was going to do a show prior to Facebook Connect where I did some predictions, and I thought maybe I would do it tonight, or maybe I would do it sometime tomorrow. Maybe also talk about Apple if anything Apple happens. And then all hell broke loose. I was at work today. I was working like a normal human being. And I'm working along, and I did have my phone out, and I was looking at Twitter and like doing a couple of little things on Twitter. And somebody tweeted at me, and they were like, Quest 2 is real. XR2. Da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, right. This is a bunch of bullshit. I'm not buying it. No freaking way. And then like an hour later, it was one of my breaks, and I'm like, let me go to Upload VR, and oh my God, Facebook, ladies and gentlemen, leaks the Quest 2. Now, that's a good question right there. How does Facebook leak their own product? We'll get into that. But what we have for you guys today, I do have two special guests today, and they are both very familiar with Oculus. They're very familiar with the Quest platform. They are feel-good type guests to balance me out for being kind of a weirdo and sometimes going down the negative route. And so right now I am joined by Chris Richardson, and Chris is joining us live from Los Angeles. Chris, the question I need to ask you is, smoke, bro, is it going down there too? Because it's all up here, man.
Car's covered in ash, my man. It's
Really?
completely, yeah, it's pretty bad. It was like somebody's got a smoker for the world going on. You
Yeah.
step outside and it's just terrible.
Well, you see these satellite images of California, and it's basically blanketed in smoke. So it is kind of crazy. And of course, we do have gaming science teacher. Now, she is joining us from the opposite side of the United States. And she might only be able to stick with us for about an hour. So we got about an hour of gaming science teacher, and then she's got some other stuff to do. She is a teacher after all. And are you doing like Zoom classes and stuff like that, or what's going on in your teacher world?
Oh my goodness. So I did reveal more about about my school one time before. I think I shared it with the guys on Coffee and VR, but I'll clarify that um I work at a cyber charter school. So it was really interesting, when the pandemic hit, things just continued as normal for us. Our students are always at home. We've been using Zoom for years. Um, so that's really interesting. And I guess technically, as of, I don't know, a few weeks ago, I'm not I'm not technically a science teacher anymore. I'm working full time in my school's new technology lab. It's not quite open and up and running yet. It's still in the final phases of planning and under construction. But I'm really excited about it. So all kinds of changes.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely some changes to be sure. Now I got a lot of people telling me that my volume is like crazy low, but I have it on maximum. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'll be turning down their volume a little bit, and then you guys are just going to have to raise the volume of the YouTube video. Maybe if my camera was located up a little bit more, I mean my camera, my microphone was a little bit up more in my face, or maybe I'll just get a little bit closer to the mic. Not sure why it's not super loud. So I guess we'll see. Just keep a track on. They're saying it's better. It is really hard to hear, huh? Crazy hard. I don't know. I wonder, can I get into my microphone while it's actually working, and see if the settings. Let's
Are all
see.
of us hard to hear or just you?
They're saying. I think they're saying it's just me. It says better when you got closer. Okay, sounds like a wrong connection somewhere. What can I do here? Let's see. So okay, Let me get into the microphone settings because one time I was in my microphone settings and it had it set to like it didn't have it as high as it should have been. And so let
Yeah,
me
Yeah,
I
I
can
think you
hear
had.
you on the call just fine. So make sure you're patching the right audio from you, I guess.
I think it was a time specifically when you had two guests at the same time that there was something a little bit funky, and you figured out what it was.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but well, we'll just have to try to make the best of it. So are you guys still having problems with me? Like I'm still really low. They're still saying I'm really low.
Yeah.
Um,
You could always turn me and Chris down a lot, and then everyone can just turn their volume up.
yeah, I guess that's what I will have to do is I'll just pipe you guys down quite a bit, and then it's really low. Okay.
Just put the mic in your face, like me.
Yeah. I mean, I have it pretty freaking close. Hello, hello, guys. I have it
Yeah, I can
pretty
hear you
freaking
clear now.
close. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, it's weird because I am looking at like my mic levels in OBS and it's never getting into the yellow, and I'm like
Mm.
right up on this puppy. Hello, hello, hello. Well, we'll just have to figure it out. I mean, we'll just have to figure it out as we go along. Okay, now they're saying my levels are the same as the guests, so hopefully this will work. Okay, so we've got a lot to get into, guys. I mean, this is crazy pandemonium. Now, first off, let me just start off by saying Nostradamus Jr., massive failure, right? Because I said, did I say I would like eat a freaking face strap or something if this was really an Oculus Quest 2? I'm pretty sure I said that at one point or another. And this is a Quest 2. It's got an XR2 in it. How is this humanly possible? Chris Richardson, why don't I go to you first? How is it humanly possible that this has an XR2 when supposedly this thing is going to be $299? The Target and Walmart leak was $299. How I thought an XR2 was $299 just for that. How the hell do you get a headset with it?
When you've got the money bags that Zuck brings to the party, this is now the new loss leader. If you want an example of loss leading technology in order to get people's eyeballs on something, Facebook is doing it, man. They're doing the real thing. They're making it. They're making that product that we dreamed of.
Okay,
So
wait a minute
it's
though.
that.
There's lost leaders and then there's this. Like this is beyond lost leaders because wait a minute, when we thought this was a Quest 1.5 and we thought that this was basically they were taking a Quest and we thought this was PlayStation 2 Slim. That's what we thought this was. You know, we didn't think this was PlayStation 4 Pro. We thought this was PlayStation 2 Slim. So the same thing, but put into a smaller, more comfortable package, and then dropping the price to $299. I remember saying, "Hey, if they got a Quest 1.5 at $299, that is freaking awesome." I mean, how many more people are going to be able to buy it? Now we're getting a next level Quest 2 for $299. But let me go ahead and bounce over to Gaming Science Teacher. Gaming Science Teacher, do you believe there's a possibility that the $299 thing is a bunch of bullcrap?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm a little bit worried about it because, like you said, how how is there an XR2 in here and it's only 299? I mean, that doesn't it almost doesn't fit together in your head. Um, you could always assume that, Facebook is just they're just going all in. They're pushing in all the chips and saying, basically someone in the chat said, free headsets for everyone. They're basically being Oprah and just giving away hardware so that they can get us all locked in their ecosystem. Or maybe those price leaks were wrong. After all, they're not official. That we haven't officially heard anything about the price. Maybe that was a placeholder in those systems in Target or where the other stores that those leaks came from. So I'm honestly a little bit worried that maybe 299 is not the price. Maybe it's going to be more expensive. but I guess we'll have to wait for Wednesday to find out.
2 more days.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my theory, guys. So when all this was happening earlier today, and I saw these little trailers that they had, and I was like listening to the trailers, and I'm like, oh my god, this is freaking real. This does not compute. This does not work. And then also when I was like on the Upload website, and it was talking about Facebook leaks the Quest, and I'm like, wait a minute, doesn't it need to be somebody else that leaks the Quest? Like, if someone's coming out with, you don't leak your own product, or do you? But here's the thing, then it dawned on me, it was like a light bulb going off. Do you guys know what's happening tomorrow? There's a major Apple conference that is happening tomorrow, and here's what I think is happening, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing happens in a vacuum when it comes to this type of stuff. And when we're at this level where we're talking about companies that have market caps in the $800 billion range, I believe Facebook has like a $768 billion market cap. Apple, of course, is one of the largest market caps in the entire world. It's basically Apple and Amazon, right? Fighting back and forth day by day of who has the largest market cap. When you get into this area, competition is incredibly fierce, and the stakes of the game are just incredibly high. And what we're talking about here, we're talking about the next computing platform. We're talking about the next like cell phone thing. And obviously we can get into a conversation about whether it's AR or VR, but we know it's going spatial, right? We know it's going to be a spatial platform, and it's going to be either AR or VR or a mix of both. And I believe that both Facebook, Apple, Google, Microsoft, all these gigantic companies, they do a bit of corporate espionage. They have people that are on the inside of other companies. They find out little things, and people might say, well, that's bullshit. How could they do that? That is patently wrong. But everybody else is doing it, so everybody feels like they have to do it. It's kind of like all the nations around the world spy on everybody because they figure everybody's spying on everybody. You got to do it. And so I believe this corporate espionage exists, and I believe Facebook knew that Apple was going to get involved in this game, and it's real deal competition. And so why do you deliberately leak this information one day before the Apple conference? Because this information spreads like wildfire. It's on Engadget, it's on The Verge, it's on every little website out there. It's all over the VR news. And so all this gets out, and everybody's like, oh my God, Quest 2, it's got all these advanced features. And then tomorrow, if Apple actually does introduce a VR product, I don't think it has the same impact as if Facebook waited around for Wednesday. So, Chris, I'll go to you. What do you think about my conspiracy theory that this is all about Apple?
I posted the same thing on Facebook earlier today. I believe it 100% that this is not a leak, that this is an intentional leak, that this is something done in order to pull the wind from the sails of whatever Apple releases. And I don't think they have to actually have somebody embedded in order to do that kind level of espionage. They're all getting the chips from the same place. They're all putting Qualcomm's product in. So all they have to do is sweet talk Qualcomm in order to find things out.
Not Apple, though. Not Apple. Apple has their own processors that are in iPhones. They have their own CPU GPU combo. That's the one thing. See, Apple actually has an advantage over Facebook in this regard. Apple can do everything in-house. They're the only company in this entire game that can do everything in-house. Apple has their own operating system. They're not going to Android getting their operating system. Now, Facebook is working on an operating system right now, but they don't have one yet. Probably won't be ready until Quest 3, although honestly, I didn't think Quest 2 was going to be available this fast, so who knows. But anyway, but yeah, so Apple can do the chip, the CPU, the GPU, the operating system. the whole kit and caboodle. They can do the whole thing all in-house. Gaming science teacher, what about you? When it comes to Apple, originally, I would have been the last guy that would have ever thought that Apple would mess with VR. But on my most recent show, I kind of mentioned this because there were rumors. People have been talking about this Apple thing for a little while now. And I've changed my tune because they've acquired so many VR companies. But also, I believe Apple, of all the companies out there, they see Facebook as a legitimate threat, where I don't think Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo, like from a traditional video game standpoint, I don't think they see Facebook as the threat that they should, but I think Apple does. What do you think about this possibility? Do you think we're going to, like, tomorrow's going to happen and there's not going to be a peep of any VR anything, and this was just all random circumstance?
I don't know. Like you said that you were before thinking that Apple doesn't have a reason to get into VR. That's that's my thoughts as well. I don't see Apple being in, uh, VR gaming, VR immersive experiences. I see Apple being in AR. So if I had to guess, I would say that tomorrow they might talk about something that's AR related. Um, I see them being much more productivity, communication, social, maybe a little bit of media consumption, maybe a little bit of casual gaming, like you might do on an iPhone. Um, I don't see them going for, full-fledged VR. Then again, I didn't see this coming with the XR2 and the Quest, so what do I know? I could be totally wrong.
Well, I've got a question. Why did Apple schedule a conference right the day before Facebook Connect? Like, when did that conference actually get scheduled?
Yeah, it's a good question, but either way, VR is not that big. Like, even if Apple does announce a VR product tomorrow, it's not going to be like the lead story of Apple, and it's going to be just another little thing. But I mean, I always thought it was impossible. But okay, here's a question I'll throw at you, Chris. Here's a question I got to ask you: Is okay? Let's say Apple has nothing to do with this whatsoever. If Apple has nothing to do with this whatsoever, what in God's green earth is Facebook doing subsidizing the Quest 2 by like $600? Because let's go back to that one VR headset. It was called the Lynx or something like that. I don't know if you guys remember this. This was earlier this year. There was, like, I think it might have been a French company announced the first VR headset that was going to feature an XR2 chip. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the price of that headset was like $1,500. And when I heard about that, I was like, oh shit, I guess there's no Quest killer coming anytime soon for any of us, because if the XR2 costs that much money, there's no way they can get it in a consumer-facing product. Now you're telling me not only are they getting it into a consumer-facing product, but it's going to be $299? Like, the only logical thing in my brain that can handle this information is they're scared shitless of Apple. They're scared shitless of Apple. Like, the thing that I think in my brain is Facebook paid billions of dollars for Oculus. They've invested more into this market than anybody else. They've hired hundreds of engineers, and they've just spent so much money and so much effort. They're so focused on this. The last thing that they want to see happen is Apple to be a Johnny come lately and come in at the last possible minute and freaking drop a proverbial VR bomb. And then Apple, the other thing about Apple can price their headset at like $799, give no discount whatsoever, and they will sell them by the bucket load because they have so many hardcore fans that will buy anything that they produce. And I think if you're Facebook, maybe you're like no, you find out that Apple is doing all this, and you're like, F that. we're going to combat that. We're going to throw in the XR2. We're going to drop the price. We are going all in. We've staked our claim here. We have beachfront property. We are not letting Apple come into this and screw this shit up at the last possible minute. I mean, that's the only justification I can think of. Otherwise, how is this logical? Okay, Chris, going to you first.
There's one other possibility. I went to OC5 the year before the one you went to, and Zuck was up on stage, and there was I believe it was OC5, 1 billion was up on the wall, and that was his goal. He wanted 1 billion pairs of eyeballs looking into the VR space. And then he put up a second graphic. It was like, and everybody laughed in the auditorium. The second graphics showed where we are today. And it was way down the line. It was like nowhere near it. So this is the bid to get that number where it needs to be. I mean, they've done so many things to prop this industry up. That whole summer of Rift, where for an entire year there was like a AAA or close to at least AA application available for VR. That was like Candyland, and then that went away, and it was like, oh, we're going to focus on fewer bigger bets, and they did that. They put out Stormland, and oops, my phone was ringing. And I can't get to it. But I really think that they are fulfilling the promise. They're trying to make that industry happen now instead of tomorrow.
Okay, gaming science teacher. So Chris is saying, remember 1 billion people in VR. And yeah, I get it. I get the 1 billion people in VR thing, and I understand all of that. But here's the thing. Weren't they selling the Oculus Quest 1, the regular old busted Oculus Quest, which we got to talk about how worthless that is right now, but we'll get to that in a second. Weren't they selling the Oculus Quest 1 as fast as they could possibly make them, and they were just selling them out immediately? And the point that I'm trying to make is, couldn't they put in an XR2 and do all this crazy stuff that they're doing and not drop it? Dude, $299 is a death blow. They're doing this because there's a threat. There's an outside threat. This can't just be, let's get 1 billion people in VR, because the problem is, even at $299, even with all this amazing shit, it's still not going to get 1 billion people in VR anytime soon. This is a long tail problem. The way we get to 1 billion people in VR is when we have advanced Facebook avatars. It's like 15 years from now before we do all of that. And so there's got to be something else going on here, right? Gaming science teacher, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely hear what you guys are saying in, Facebook basically going all in. They don't want Apple to come and steal their thunder. The only thing that they can do, like you said, Apple could put a turd in a box and sell it for $1,000 and people would buy it. Facebook doesn't have that luxury. They have to subsidize it. They have to cut that price down. But it makes me wonder whether Facebook is going to surprise us. We're all thinking about the Quest. Are they going to surprise us with something strictly AR on Wednesday? Are they planning to announce or possibly even launch?
Oh shit, now you're throwing in other products. Let's throw in other products. Well, speaking of other products though, one thing I've actually thought about is, because doesn't this Quest 2, let's talk about the Quest 2 for a second, in terms of the resolution of the Quest 2, doesn't this kind of kill the HP reverb? Like, if I just ordered an HP reverb, I freaking canceled that shit. Why would you buy a Valve Index? You can now have a headset potentially for $299 that has higher resolution than the Valve Index, possibly the same resolution as the HP Reverb G2, or maybe just a tiny bit below that, but with all of the power of Oculus and all their exclusives and their comfort. I mean, are we really going to put our faith in Hewlett-Packard to do everything right? I don't think so. Of course, we also have to think about, what about this? Gaming science teacher, I got to go to you with this one. Okay, here's my question. Does anybody remember Logingate? You know, Watergate, Logingate, like the Facebook Logingate. Remember that like what was that, like a month ago, a couple of weeks ago? Dude, was this masterful or what? When Facebook did that whole login thing and everybody was crying bloody murder, bloody murder, bloody murder, I'm selling all my Oculus stuff. I'm getting rid of all Oculus. You know, all those threads that were on the Oculus subreddit. Everybody like, I can't do this. No, I'm not going to be a part of this. I'm abandoning all my Oculus stuff. Okay, then a couple of weeks later, XR2, 4K resolution, 299. How quickly the tides turn. Is this the most masterful manipulation of like, okay, we gotta drop a really bad thing, but you know what? We've got this beautiful thing that's like a month later, everyone's going to forget about it. Gaming science teacher, what's your thoughts?
Well, I don't know that everyone has forgotten about Logingate at this point. A lot of people are still talking about it. But I think what was, masterful, if you could call it, on Facebook's part, is not necessarily that the same people would think about the login thing and, oh, I hate Facebook, and then a month later see the shiny new Quest and be like, oh, never mind, I love you again, Facebook. I think it would be more that there's a group of people, and it's probably the minority, and it's probably the more enthusiast crowd, um, who were very, anti-Facebook login. But then a month down the road, they're going to reach a much broader audience, maybe users who are not on Reddit, who are not following every, VR related account on Twitter, not probably not watching these shows, just more, average everyday users or people who aren't using VR right now, but they're going to come in this next wave when it's more comfortable and less expensive. And being able to offer them the benefits, the increased resolution. And I mentioned, I noticed someone in chat saying, resolution wasn't the thing they needed to fix, but and I'm not, I use my Quest, and resolution's the last thing that I want
Yeah, but
in a
wait,
successor.
don't you want to kill screen door dead? Raid kills bugs dead. I want screen door killed dead. And so, honestly, when it comes, we'll get to the resolution, but one thing I do want to say, though, about this Facebook login thing, Gaming Science Teacher, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Ben Lang had a very good point that a lot of people have forgotten about. Okay, so the fine print here is, yeah, you got an Oculus account a long time ago, and they're going to give you till 2023 or whatever to switch over. But guess what? If you buy new hardware, if you get new hardware, and this Quest 2 is new hardware, and they're giving everybody and their mama's cousin a reason to buy this new hardware, you get this new hardware, Facebook login required. Gotcha. Checkmate. They did it. What do you think about that?
That turned out to be a problem for my school. Um, I was, very keen on that caveat that it doesn't matter whether you already had an Oculus account um, before October of this year. If it was new hardware, it doesn't matter. You have to have a Facebook account. And that's problematic for a school to have, a set of quests for a lab that students are going to be using, and to say, well, you need a Facebook account to log into each one of these. It's like, that's not going to fly. We can't do that. And unfortunately, Facebook has not gotten their game together on an educational offering. Um,
Do you
I,
think sorry to interrupt you, but I'm thinking that maybe what Facebook will do, like, they're going to have to realize that there's some edge cases that are this is an edge case. This is a perfect edge case, right? And what I think they could do to like alleviate this would be to offer, like, you could make some kind of special Facebook account that basically just, like, to basically get by this little problem. Like, they'll figure out a way around it, but it may be incredibly confusing for a while, right?
yeah, I mean, you would hope that they would have something like that, and I think they need that. Um, I forget who it was now, but one of the highly prominent people at Oculus actually responded to my inquiry when I DM'd them on Twitter asking what should a school do, whether you're a school, a library, a hospital, something like that. Um, and you want people to be able to use quests rather than a personal Facebook account. What should a school do in that scenario? And the answer was, well, you might want to go with Oculus for Business. So there's Oculus for Business, and you don't need to have a personal Facebook account to log into those devices. There's some nice device management software. But with their Oculus for Business software running on there where you don't need the Facebook account, it's a blank slate. You can put your own custom enterprise software on there, or you can hire someone to make an app for you. But you can't access the store. I can't get Anne Frank House VR. I can't get Titans of Space. I can't get Gadgeteer for my students to play if I have their enterprise software on there. To get those apps,
Yeah.
I need to be using the consumer software, and then you're back to square one needing a Facebook account. So I was like a mad woman the past 2 weeks trying to track these things down. The consumer quests are sold out everywhere. I'm on the phone with Best Buy. I'm submitting requests to B&H Photo Video. I'm like, where are these things? We need to get them. We can't be forced into the new quests and forced into Facebook accounts. That's not going to work. And we ended up actually getting the Oculus for Business quests because
Oh my
that's what
God.
was available. But we're not even going to bother using their Oculus for Business software because we need to use the consumer software to use the consumer app. So it's a crazy mess. It's a
Yeah.
crazy mess. But we just you know, squeaked by getting a hold of a set of quests for our school's lab. They're going to be the old ones, so it's kind of a shame that it's going to be, the last gen hardware, but we'll be able to use plain old Oculus accounts, and our students will be able to enjoy some really cool experiences with those.
Okay, let's talk about the last gen Quest, that old busted piece of hardware. Yesterday's news, guys. Yesterday's news. Okay, now trip on this, folks. How freaking unbelievable is this? Do you guys know that the Oculus Quest launched on May 21st, 2019, which is 480 days ago? Is this the fastest anything like this has ever been obsolete? 480 days. I've talked about this before. I never thought this would happen because you know what happens here? This is the haves and the have-nots. Let's go negative for a minute here because I want to rant for like some of the people that like don't have a voice in this. And I want to rant for the people that bought an Oculus Quest in May of this year or June of this year. There's people, see, Facebook, this is a power play. They're doing what they got to do. I understand what they're doing here, but at the same time, they are going to pay a price for this. You do not do this. You do not screw people over like this and get away scot-free. Now, I know that Facebook is going to spin this. They're going to spin this to the best of their ability. I can tell you exactly what they're going to do. Like they're going to be like, and here's Mike Verdu. And then Mike Verdu's going to get on stage. He's going to be like, yes, so we have a Quest 2. We have a Quest 1. Now, is your Quest 1 obsolete? No, of course not. We're going to continue to bring software to the Quest 1, and developers are going to make a Quest 1 game right alongside a Quest 2 game. The Quest 2 game will have enhancements, but the Quest 1 game will be fine. Your Quest 1 is not obsolete. We've heard it a million times, man. Maybe the Quest 1 won't be obsolete, but this also creates like a developer's nightmare. Think of the developers that now it's like, oh, we got to make this XR2 game. We got to make a Quest 1 game. Of course, they'll spin that as well. I guarantee you they're probably going to have somebody from like Cloudhead Games or something that is going to speak on stage and be like, well, this isn't as bad as you think it is because they're both under the Snapdragon engine and they'll scale perfectly well. This is only going to take another 2 weeks of time and everything will be great. I mean, they're definitely going to spin this shit, but tell me that my Quest didn't just drop in value about 85%. Chris Richardson, This is my Oculus Quest right here, which it just fell apart because this little Frankenmod thing pops off. But this is my Oculus Quest, right? Mm-hmm. So I got a Frankenmod on this puppy, and I got a VR cover, super plush VR cover face gasket. And this is the larger Quest. So I paid $499 plus tax, and then I paid for the deluxe audio strap thingamajiggy, and I paid for this face gasket. And so bottom line, this Quest is damn near like a $700 Quest. I went to bed last night with a $700 Quest. I woke up today with a $200 Quest. I don't even know if I can get $200 for it. Chris, so let me ask you, if somebody has a $399 Quest, it's your standard everyday Quest, what would you pay for that right now? Would you buy one? Would you buy one for $100? Because like some people could make the argument that, oh, it's not that big of a deal. You're still going to be able to play all these Quest games and everything. It's not obsolete, but the writing is on the wall, bro. I mean, your resolution is way down. Your chip is like nowhere near where this other chip is. It's almost like Facebook has decided that they're starting over, and it's like, yeah, that was a false start. Forget about that. Now we're starting with Quest 2. Forget about that old shit back there. We're starting with Quest 2. What is a Quest 1 worth, if anything?
Well, I'm not as pessimistic as you are about this whole thing, so I'm sorry. I'm going to have to say, what the heck are you talking about, Anthony? The Quest 1 is still very, very useful. Useful for all sorts of things. Like I use it to get together with people and watch films, regularly that are nowhere near me. And in this time of the pandemic, that device has been nothing but a godsend. It's been a perfect storm for having that kind of gear. And I'm always blown away by the number of people out there who have never put on a VR headset that still exists to this day. I mean, back years before 2016, sure. Like they tried VR back in the 90s and it died. It didn't work out. But today, you would think, I think we're in this weird little bubble where we're thinking, geez, I don't know. It's nothing but rainbows and lollipops for me. I'm a kid in a candy store again. I've not seen this kind of year-over-year update of technology in any platform that I've been into since I was a kid.
Okay, wait, Chris. Look. It's exciting for us. I'm excited too. I lost a hell of a lot of money, but I'm still excited because I want resolution and I want all these advanced things. But let's say you've got like a cousin or somebody that they're like a Johnny Walmart. They don't buy every gadget that comes along, and they saved up a lot of money. Like they couldn't buy a Quest right away because they felt it was a little bit too, they might buy a Switch or something, but a Quest was more money. They had to save up a little bit more money. They have a young kid that saved up all of his money by mowing lawns for like 2 years, finally afforded an Oculus Quest, and then bam, that shit is obsolete next day. I mean, look, I know the thing is still going to operate. I know that the person is still going to be able to play Red Matter tomorrow or Beat Saber or whatever, but he's not going to be able to play Red Matter 2, bro.
I still have my Oculus Go, Anthony, and I still use the thing. It's not like they were done dirty like
throw it in the trash, man. Throw it in the trash.
No, what should go in the trash are those Google headsets. Remember the Daydream? Remember that? That's a thing that died a horrible death, and it cost $450 when it came out. So yeah, I think you're hemming and hawing over a thing that like does not really matter in the end.
Oh, you're telling me that on the Oculus Quest subreddit, there aren't people ready to burn shit down right now because they're in bed? Dude, people have... Okay, I'm going to go to Gaming Science Teacher now. Let me ask you
They can sell things to Gaming Science Teacher. She's looking for those headsets. Anybody who doesn't want to be on Facebook for the next 2 years, that's still going to be a premium headset. put the thing on eBay, you still may be able to get your money back.
No, you won't be able to get your money back. Here's why. If an Oculus Quest 2 is $299.99 plus tax, that's like what, $328 or something roughly, right? So now it's $328 for a brand spanking new, never ever used Quest with damn near double the resolution, an XR2, all these advancements. Who's gonna want a busted old ass Quest unless they know nothing about anything? And there are people like that out there. I guarantee you somebody sold a Quest today with inside knowledge of what's going on with this whole deal, right? They sold a Quest today to some poor unsuspecting customer, and that person got boned. Okay, gaming science teacher, if I do that, am I an asshole? Does the karma come back and bite me? What do I do? Are you keeping your Quest? What are you going to do?
No, I don't think you're in the wrong if you sell it. I mean, if you tried to sell it for more than 399, yeah, maybe you're a jerk, but um it's definitely an interesting question. I can absolutely see people being upset. Um, when I first heard just rumors of a new quest way back when, months and months ago, I was a little bit upset. Like it wasn't that long ago that I bought mine. It was less than a year and a half that the quest came out, and I don't want to have to buy a whole new piece of hardware. Um, my current plan is to basically trade up using the replacement plan that I purchased on it through Best Buy. Um, Usually
Nice.
those replacement plans are pretty much no questions asked. Um,
They'll
and I'm
let
gonna
you
see if
switch
I can
into a
do that.
Quest 2? Actually, wait, let me ask you this question. Let me go to a different question. Okay, oh, damn it, I forgot to do the resize thing, and so your size got all messed up. Pop you in like that. Let's see. Now, what was I going to say? Oh, here's my question. Okay, doesn't Facebook have some kind of responsibility here in terms of like this hasn't even is has it even been 18 months since the Quest launched? I don't even think it's been
Not
18
quite.
months. It's not even 18 months. This isn't 24 months. This isn't even 18 months. This is 480 days. I have never in my entire life as a consumer on planet Earth have ever seen a mass market product put to bed this freaking fast. Never. This isn't just a computer item, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a video card and then, oh, I bought this motherboard and 480 days later, that motherboard is garbage and now I need a new one or I need a new CPU. This is not, no, this is a mass market product. This shit was sold in Walmart. This shit was sold in Best Buy. They're selling this shit to moms and dads, to soccer moms, to Joe Six Packs. This has been sold to families and stuff. You don't do this, Facebook. You're going to pay a price, Facebook. You really are. So now I'll calm down for a
Are
second.
you doing that same rant for Nvidia? Because all those 2080 people would like to
No,
talk to
but
you.
that's PC. That's PC. That's for hardcore enthusiasts. Facebook was selling this shit to regular Joe Blows. I knew.
And they couldn't buy them because it was sold out. I seem to remember you were the guy who was on this show saying, "Why didn't you make more, Facebook? I can't get you can't sell enough. Somebody made a mistake over there. They should have been selling far more of these." And now you're on the other side of the fence saying they sold too many
Okay,
and
wait,
they
wait,
owed a
wait. I got
responsibility
a
to it.
question for gaming science teacher about this though. My question is an amnesty program. Shouldn't Facebook have an amnesty program where it's like, okay, everybody bring your Oculus One to Menlo Park. They got a giant, they have a big party there, a big tent. Bring your Quest One, $200. We'll get, bring your Quest One plus $150 in food stamps, and we'll give you a Quest 2, baby.
Uh,
What do you think?
yeah, I don't know that they're gonna do that. And um, like you said, they're gonna pay a price. I think the price that they're gonna pay is so insignificant in comparison to what they're gonna gain that they don't care, and that there's gonna be that group of people that are just too bad, you're out of luck. And like you said, they're gonna say, well, it's not like you can't use it anymore. They're not gonna, turn a switch off and all the old quests are unusable. then you'll still be able to use them. I just want to clarify. I think I saw one or two people in the chat when I'm talking about with Best Buy, they don't have like a trade-in program or anything like that. No, I have a replacement plan, like an extended warranty, like a protection plan. That I paid an extra $80, I think, when I bought the Quest to get that. Um, but it's a replacement plan, which means if you make a claim on it, and I mean I do have two cracked lens rings and a kind of a crack on my controller,
Ah, bad karma
or
coming your way. No.
or if the battery just doesn't hold a charge like it used to anymore or something like that, and you
Oops,
take
I
it in
dropped it.
and you say, hey, this isn't working anymore. The replacement plan means they're not going to try and fix it. It means that what they're going to do is give you store credit. It's like a gift card, but not quite a gift card. They're going to give you store credit so that you can go and replace it. So I'll see what happens with that. That's my current plan.
The
and,
only
and if
problem
that
with
doesn't pan out, I might be upset.
the only problem with that plan, gaming science teacher, that'll work perfectly fine. Here's the problem though. When you're driving home, when you're driving home from Best Buy after it's over and you got your Quest 2 and it's sitting in the passenger seat and you put the seat belt around it to keep it nice and safe, bam, all of a sudden your transmission goes out. Karma, baby. It happens, and it happens harsh. Okay, let's see. Man, I had a good thing that I wanted to talk about. Let's see. Oh, so, okay, I'm going to go back to you, Chris. So let me, because you're saying, look, like both of you guys are kind of saying the Quest 1 didn't just die. Like, it's still going to work. Like, I can still turn my Quest 1 on. I can still play Elixir. I can still play Gorn, which is going to come out in a little while. I can still play Saints and Sinners later this year. There's still going to be new Quest games coming out, for probably the next 9-10 months, and then it'll fall off a cliff. But for the next 9 or 10 months, there will still be Quest games coming out, right? So it's not completely dead. But Chris, let me go to you, because here's my question. Then why are we buying this Quest 2? Because if they're not going to do something special with this Quest 2, then why would I buy it? So they're either going to half-ass the Quest 2, like they got an XR2 chip in there. So on Wednesday, when we're watching this beautiful presentation and they're showing all this razzmatazz, shouldn't we see Medal of Honor Quest 2 edition? Exclusive, you know what I'm saying? Like, shouldn't we, I mean, there should be some new games on the Quest 2, right? Doesn't the Quest 2 need to have a launch game? Lone Echo 1 on the Quest 2. Echo Combat never coming to Quest, asterisk. Quest 2, that's a different story, baby. The XR2 makes all the difference. So you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth and say, there's no problem here, but then if that's really true, if there's no problem with having a Quest 1, then that means they ain't doing diddly with Quest 2. Isn't that a problem? Okay, Chris, go ahead.
Well, I guess they are following Apple's lead, right? Apple does the same thing with their iPads. They stopped calling them iPad 1, iPad 2. It's just the iPad. You buy this generation of it. And the question becomes whether or not your version of the iPad will run the application you're hoping to run. Like, I have an old iPad 1 that does not work. It's a brick. I mean, it's physically fine, but their updates to their operating system have killed that device. One of the reasons I despise some of the things that Apple does. But I think Facebook is just following their playbook, man, and making everything work for them. But two things I wanted to go back on. One, I have a friend that I contacted about this morning when the news dropped, and his response to me was, I would slit my wrists before I bought one of those products. And it's all because of his hatred of Apple. I mean, Facebook, sorry.
Apple too.
He is not a fan of the Zuck, and he would never touch it with all those restrictions and requirements. So he's one guy who just doesn't care. I have another friend who says that if he were able to buy, if he had a choice between a Switch and this new Oculus headset, he'd buy the new Oculus headset in a heartbeat. So I think that's the target. I think gaming science teacher is 100% on that. The market they want to expand to is that 1 billion number. And you can't get there without flipping over the cart and making things exciting for people. And they've done it. So
Well, you're
I
talking
think we're
about making things exciting, though. To really make things exciting, gaming science teacher, I want to ask you this. Like, so the XR2 is in this thing, right? That's what I heard. I heard the XR2 was in this thing. Well, the XR2, like, if we go back to like those Qualcomm trailers with like scene recognition and understanding, 7 cameras, freaking eye tracking, all this advanced mumbo jumbo, right? So if you're Oculus and you're delivering an XR2 and you're saying this is a new level of entertainment, ladies and gentlemen, are we going to get live maps? Are we going to get advanced avatars? Are we going to have hand tracking that is light years better than the hand tracking that was like gerrymandered onto the Quest 1, which, hey, that's great. They got it working on there. But now is the hand tracking going to be freaking pinpoint accurate in bad lighting, good lighting, all of these things? Like, isn't there going to be haves and have-nots? And if there isn't, then why do this? Like, see, that's my problem. I like firm generations. I don't like PS4 Pros. I don't like Xbox One X, double X, whatever. I like generations where something just dies. And then all the software, get the hell out of here with that shit. We're going with a brand new thing, baby. All these generations that like straddle each other and piggyback off the next one, it's all a bunch of garbage. No one's ever like... Who's going to make a super advanced Quest 2 game? Nobody, because they got to get it on Quest 1 because there's already 4 million quests floating around out there, however many there are. Gaming science teacher, what do you think about like these advanced things like live maps, advanced avatars, eye tracking, facial tick tracking, all kinds of shit?
I don't know that we're getting that stuff yet. I mean, they're going there. They want to be there. They've talked about live maps and stuff like that. But um I'm blanking on his name, but there's a dev who has been going into the the software updates and kind of analyzing them and posting on Twitter, who has found things like the
couch thing.
Oculus couch, yeah, the whiteboard, the pass-through keyboard, these portals that you can make that are going to start to blend your real space and your VR space, utilizing, building on the Guardian technology that they have. And that might be some of the things that we're getting. They might be trying to target business and productivity use. They allowed um, immersed onto the store for a long time. You can only get that through like a key distribution. They had like a special arrangement with them where you could um, go to Immersed's website to request to download it or purchase it, and then they would email you a key that you could redeem. But now Immersed is on the store, um, and that might be one of the reasons that they felt resolution needed to be improved, because when you're trying to work in VR and you have those virtual screens, the resolution of the current Quest was not quite there for it to be comfortable working on those virtual screens. So they might really be trying to push the more, working in VR, productivity, social kind of things with this new headset. And those might be some of the features. Those features might be supported by the XR2. And it makes you wonder, is everyone with a Quest 1 not going to have access to those features? Like you said, is it going to start to make a dividing line? Not to mention games. That was a thought I had just earlier today too, was, okay, is it going to be Lone Echo 2 for Quest, but only for the new Quest? And then that opens a can of worms for the developers. Like you said, it's a developer's nightmare. I know, Guy Godin was talking about that would be horrible to have this higher tier platform that you can develop for, and the lower tier. And if you want a more, resource intensive game, you can only target the people who have the newer one. Or if you want to be on both, then you have to make 2 different versions. So I'm honestly a little bit surprised that they would be willing to segment their library. But like you said, why release a headset with an XR2 if you're not going to segment the library and have something bigger and better that the new Quest can do that the old one couldn't?
And as you
Yeah,
said, there is a roadmap already established. Like PlayStation and Xbox have all done this. They have higher
just
resolution
recently
capable
though. Just recently.
platforms. Yeah, but it is a roadmap you can look to. I mean, if you play your games, your PlayStation VR games on a PlayStation Plus, 5 Plus, then it's going to look better than it does on the regular PlayStation. So that already exists. People are kind of used to that.
God, I hate it. I like definitive generations, man. Definitive generations. Not and everybody does the phone thing. The first person in chat that talks about a goddamn phone and how we do this, we buy a phone every year. This is not a phone. Does anybody have you ever seen anybody put an Oculus Quest in their pocket and take it with them everywhere they effing go? No, you haven't, because it's not a phone. This is not a comparable comparison. I don't know, man. I mean, look, I'm gonna hope for the best. The one thing I will say, one thing that I am super excited about with this whole ordeal is I want a higher resolution Oculus headset. I want a better Oculus headset for PC, really, is what I really want it for. And gaming science teacher, I know you're like, you got to get going here. So I'll just ask you one last question before you bounce out of here. This is kind of like a prediction for Wednesday. So we're seeing this little tiny headset, which, by the way, it worries me, man. That thing looks so freaking tiny. How am I going to get my big giant Mark Cuban head up in there? But that's another question. But gaming science teacher, on Wednesday, do you think they're going to say, here's Quest 2 and here's Rift 2? And Rift 2 is basically Quest 2 with no freaking battery and way more lightweight. Why not?
No, I don't see that happening. I think they're all in on mobile standalone. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, uh, Rift S is discontinued. No more Rift.
Oh
Dead
my
and buried and gone.
God.
I know a lot
Oh
of people would not
my
be happy
God.
about that, but I don't know. I haven't seen the availability tanking of the Rift S like I did the Quest, so I don't know that it's actually going to be discontinued, but I do not see them continuing into PC VR. I see
Wow.
them focusing on this and saying, hey, if you want to, if you want to do it with Link, great. There's also the possibility that they go wireless with it. There's the possibility that they do some sort of a wireless adapter that plugs into your PC and creates a direct Wi-Fi connection from your PC to the Quest 2, um, so that you don't have to rely on a router and how good is your router and what's the network traffic on your router. They could sell an accessory and do, wireless PCVR streaming. But I don't see them focusing on PCVR. I see them just going all in on standalone.
Hey, gaming science teacher, you know what I just thought about now? Thinking of all this streaming stuff. What about what do you call it? When you're playing on your Quest and you want to get it onto like a TV or something, casting.
Mm,
Will this
yeah.
XR2, God, I hope there's something for casting. I want a dongle that costs like $29.99 or $39.99. It's got HDMI on one end. You go over to a buddy's house, they're having a big birthday party or whatever, and you can put Beat Saber on their big ass TV and have somebody playing Beat Saber and they see Beat Saber on the TV, and it's just a simple dongle. It connects really well. There's no loss of signal or audio or anything. Wouldn't that be pretty sweet?
That would be nice. I'm hoping, and I have reason to believe that they have been looking into the whole sharing your um, the whole sharing experience around Quest, whether that be casting to your friends and family in the same room, or whether that be taking screenshots or recording video or possibly streaming video, and how much of a pain in the butt that is currently on the Quest. And so I hope they've done the right things making that easier. I mean, gosh, would it be nice to just press a button in there and go live on YouTube or Twitch? That would be awesome, right? Or even if they say, well, YouTube and Twitch are our competitors, we want you to go live on Facebook, but actually making it work at more than like, 2 frames per second, um, and, letting you go live to an actual gaming page rather than having to go live to your profile, which doesn't make any sense. I hope they've really fixed some of those things.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Gaming Science Teacher, man, we really appreciate having you. I know you got some stuff that you got to do, so you probably need to get going. Any final thoughts before you bounce out of here?
Oh man, just what a day. I'm, between working on getting, VR up and running, not to mention all the other parts and pieces up and running at my school during the day, and then thinking about this new quest, getting ready to move soon, man. Um, I'm excited to see what happens on Wednesday. I'll be uh, really eager to tune in. My eyes will be glued on it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there is still stuff to watch. It seems like most of it was blown, but I mean, there's a lot of details we're going to find out. All right, well, thanks so much for joining us, Gaming Science Teacher. Really appreciate it. And we'll have to maybe, a couple weeks from now or a week from now or whatever, we can get you on again to kind of wrap up all the craziness that happened when we have more time to like understand everything that has happened, because it is pretty crazy. But thanks so
Yeah,
much.
thanks for having me.
Okay.
Pleasure to see you.
Later,
Insightful
Chris.
commentary. Bye.
All right, so but me and Chris are going to go ahead and continue to bang away here. And let's see, I'll just have an empty spot up there, but that'll be all right. Let's see, what was I going to do? So, Chris, going back to you, so what is your thoughts about that, though? Like this conundrum of you put an XR2, you call it the Quest 2. Like, isn't the Quest 2, like, didn't Jason Rubin, you want some Ranthony for that ass? Let me give you some Ranthony. Okay, remember Jason Rubin in an interview said, we're not going to do a Rift 2 until there's a reason to do, like, he basically was talking about Rift 2 and saying, look, we're not going to do a Rift 2 until there's like earth-shattering improvements that require a Rift 2, that take us to an entirely new level. Okay, Jason Rubin, call in on Skype right now, bro, because I want to ask you, is this that earth-shattering moment? Okay, you put an XR2 in there. We know the resolution has been dramatically improved by leaps and bounds. What we don't know is, what else is this thing going to do? Is there eye tracking? Is there any kind of facial tracking? Like, how many cameras does this thing have? Because the XR2 is capable of 7 simultaneous cameras. That's the maximum that it's capable of. Okay, we know that there's 4 cameras on the outside of this thing. Are there possibly 3 cameras inside? They could put 3 cameras inside. They could have 2 cameras that are for eye tracking and 1 extra camera for like basically tracking the bottom portion, like your jaw and your cheek muscles and stuff like that. So Chris, basically what I'm asking you here is, is there going to be some next generation stuff that comes with this? Like, is this really a Quest 2?
I think you're not going to get extra cameras because the thing that we really still are up against is battery. It's like, unless there's been some real huge advance in the past year on battery technology, this thing still has to drive all of this stuff. And frame rate. They didn't mention frame rate at all. I'm hoping beyond hope that it's 90, but I'd really like if it was plugged into a PC that it does what the index does and gives you those experimental frame rates of 144, lets you play with some of that. And even on my Quest, I'll notice slowdown. I'll be playing Beat Saber, and it'll get effects heavy, and there'll be a segment of it that will go down in the amount of frames that are being played at any given time. So I think the Quest is, with its 835, is kind of up against the wall, just like the Go. Remember the Go going super hot on you when you were doing anything intense and suddenly you had to shut the thing down? I think all those kinds of considerations are being addressed by putting more juice into this box than is necessary at the moment. Another interesting thing, Anthony, in that video that has been leaked, you notice there were no new games. Everything they showed was something old that potentially is enhanced. That's what they were showing us. Red Matter. They were showing us, what other games? Vader. They were showing us Vader Immortal. but they didn't show us anything new.
Oh, you
And
know
I think
what?
that's
Chris, here's an incredible question for that ass. Okay, what about this? Okay, wait a minute. So let's say you bought Red Matter on the Quest, right? And what was the other game that you mentioned? What were some of the ones they showed?
Vader Immortal.
Okay. Oh yeah. So you bought Vader Immortal. You bought let's try to think of Quest games that really use like fixed foveated rendering aggressively because they know they're pushing the Quest way beyond what it should really do. Like for example, Red Matter. Although I think they did a pretty good job of it and it's not that noticeable. But let's say there is like when this Quest 2 comes out, Red Matter Special Edition. Will we, if I already bought it for Quest 1, do I automatically get it for Quest 2, like in my account?
They've been doing a really nice job of that so far with plenty of games that have gotten updated and enhanced editions that we didn't pay a dime for, and we just get the bonuses. What was that dungeon crawl that you were playing? That like suddenly got us. No. It was a real old game that you were playing. It was like, oh, I got to go back in this. It got a new edition, and like they finished it. They came out of open early access.
Carnage Chronicles.
Maybe. Yeah. Actually, I'm playing Carnage Chronicles now, and I love that game. I'm playing it with a friend. In fact, I'm not playing it tonight because you said, "Hey,
Vanishing
let's do this."
Realms. Vanishing Realms.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, Vanishing Realms. Though, I mean, the VR game industry has been blessed with all sorts of people doing those kinds of updates. There's also that the one done by that one kid who's no longer a kid, but he's doing the second version of it.
Zalubo Productions, yeah.
Right. They just gave you the free update of that game. Like the old one was taken off the market, but like if you'd had the old one, they gave it to you for free, the new one.
Now
re-release.
So cross-buy is going to be like cross-buy with this, cross-buy with this, cross-buy with this. You get cross-buy. It's like it works across the entire Oculus family. Okay, hold on a second, Chris. One thing I need to do really quick is I did have some super chats in this show. I want to just thank really quick. Robert Sterenchak says, loves the Ranthony show today. Yeah, I know I've been a little bit crazy. ET2K9 now says, Anthony character in full effect tonight. I love it. And Terry Blanchard, a little towards your XR2, Anthony. Yeah, generation jumping. We're doing it. So thanks for all the super chats. I definitely do appreciate that. Okay, now, Chris, what did I want to ask you about? Oh, well, I mean, one thing I do want to ask you about, let's go to the positive side of the coin. And one nice aspect of having an XR2, having these capabilities, is one of the things that we've seen with the original Oculus Quest is we have seen developers that have taken PC VR games and squeezed them onto the Oculus Quest, and they've done an incredible job, and it's been amazing. Like Vader Immortal and like Echo VR, for example. It's amazing what they've been able to achieve on a Snapdragon 835. But at the same time, we've always wished that we could squeeze more and it was a little bit closer, and we have graphic whore types that just couldn't hang, and they bought a Quest, used it for a little while, and they're like, these graphics are just too muddy and too pixely, I can't do it. Now we have an XR2, and so now more ambitious PC VR games can probably make the jump now. And maybe, can you think of any PC VR games that everybody was like, when are you going to have a Quest version? When are you going to have a Quest version? And the developer might have said, we just can't do it. Well, now maybe they can. So this might be a positive there because we've got
I've got one for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Asgard's Wrath.
Yeah.
Why do you need 256 gigs of space? Asgard's Wrath, baby, because we didn't optimize that space. Those textures are that big, and you need that high resolution.
Maybe they could split Asgard's into pieces. So Asgard's chunk 1, chunk 2, chunk 3. Because trying to put it Asgard, but even I don't know. Can the XR2 allow them to have Asgards? Okay, what about Echo VR? We just got the final version of Echo VR, right? And they've done a pretty freaking good job with that. But maybe secretly, All this time they've been banging away on that XR2, baby. I mean, this is crazy. This is so crazy.
And this is only the one aspect that they've told us about it. I'm hoping for slightly bigger FOV. I know it's smaller, so like, how are they going to pull that off? But like, we don't know. Maybe the FOV is a touch larger, because like playing Audica, the game you love so much. In my current quest, that was the first game I noticed like there are indicators happening outside the field of view that I've got. So like I would miss shots. That's a kind of thing that I'm hoping we can alleviate.
Yeah, I mean, well, so looking at this trailer right here, man, I gotta tell you. So I'm running the trailer. This is the one with the guy, and I see this new Oculus Quest 2 that's on this guy's head. It looks so freaking tiny. So I know they've made it smaller. I think it's like 20% or it's like 15% smaller, 20% lighter. I forget what we heard about it. It was one of those two. It was either or
At the beginning of the trailer, they show both of them sitting on the table together. He starts off with the old Quest,
right
and he walks
there. It
over
looks
to the
real small on his head, and it's like
it is tiny.
And so how are like, I know it has these three
but so
settings.
Was the original. So was the original Rift. The original Rift, I think, is about the size of this headset. I think they're going back to the original Rift. Like the controllers are the original Rift controllers, only with the loop flipped around backwards. They're bigger for your meaty hands. I think they're going to fit better.
Yeah, and the controllers are going to track better. See, it's the haves and have-nots, man. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to rally all the have-nots. Let's take it over. Let's burn it down. Let's rally have-nots. Let's rally, because God damn it, it really is going to be a have and have-not kind of situation. What about this, though? Let's pretend that this headset's going to fit your head right and everything, because I don't know. I feel like, at least for me, like if I had a little pinhead head, I'd feel good about it, but I don't. So one of the things, but let's pretend like it would actually fit your head right and all of that. Do you believe that this will essentially become your daily driver with a proper Oculus Link cable that's long enough because of the high resolution? See, the thing is, everybody's talking about there's this increase in resolution, but that's not going to be the only improvement here, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, we're talking about Facebook. We're talking about Michael Abrash. We're talking about John Carmack. We're talking about a whole bevy of engineers that have been banging away for years on this stuff. And so the lenses, the God rays, the glare, Facebook has learned. They have learned over years. You're holding your fingers together there. But
we hope.
over the years, they've learned things. And one of the things I've mentioned, this has been on previous episodes, but I always talk about how when you bring out a new product, when you have a new baby that you release into the world as a manufacturer that is releasing a product, you only get so many cracks at this, you know? And so when you release the Quest 2, like the Quest 2 is done. It's already been manufactured. That's another question. When are we going to get this thing? But they've already been manufacturing this thing. It's done. It's locked in. What is in the Quest 2 is in the Quest 2. There might have been other stuff they wanted to squeeze into it. Unfortunately, that's going to have to wait till Quest 3. This is what we've got here. And but what I'm saying is anything that they could possibly have squeezed into it, they want to do that. So if they've learned new things about lenses, if they're using pancake lenses, like we don't know what they're exactly doing here, but if they've learned new tricks for fixed foveated rendering that's using like we don't know what kind of tricks this thing has. There might be dramatic improvements in glare, God rays. The fixed foveated rendering might be a lot better with this thing with new algorithms that the XR2 chip can run, or there's co-processors in this that make the hand tracking that much better. But the question I want to ask you, Chris, is do you think this could be your daily driver? Do you think you could use this more than you would use even a Valve Index? It's got better controllers than the Valve Index, that's for goddamn sure.
My my current Quest is my daily driver, and it's funny when you were saying, do you know anybody who puts it in their back pocket and takes it with them? I've got a backpack and I take it with me everywhere I go, baby.
Yeah.
If I'm in line at the DMV, I've got my Quest on my head. If I go to the park, I'm playing Beat Saber. If I'm, got any place, I hate lines. I'm a line Quest hater. So if I've got like a serious, I've got to go to this department and it's got a big ass line, I'll bring it just in the hopes that I can slip it on and get in a quick game.
Dude, Chris,
so I'm that dude.
Trip on this. I'm going to the DMV tomorrow, and you just put a great idea in my head. I think I'm gonna get that Quest battery charged up, and I'm gonna look like a complete weirdo, but I'm gonna be enjoying myself in line.
I just I tell the guy behind me, hey, just give me a tap on the shoulder if the line moves. I've got photos of me doing it. So yeah, I'm that guy. I love it to death. It's
okay. Well, let me ask.
Portability is amazing. I can't imagine. I love the idea of the Index, but like I sold my original Rift, and the reason for it was those cameras that you had to place around the room. And like the Index having those lighthouses, that kills it for me. Inside out tracking, it was good enough. Like that's what I want to see. Let's see the good enough for VR improve to, best of show VR.
What about the little cord though? Like the little thin cord. Like how do you play like Gorn or something where you're turning all around, you're doing all this stuff? I mean, I've never like I know people use like
virtual desktop, baby.
Yeah. And this will work better. With like Guy Godin mentioned this, that there's a different wireless protocol that works with
Wi-Fi 6.
Yeah. And so if you get that new router, now you got to get a new router and everything, but you could be balling out of control in a wireless kind of a way. And a game,
the current one works pretty damn good.
True.
When No Man's Sky first hit, and the VR version of it, I was playing it with virtual desktop, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to give it a try on. I still had my original Rift. I was like, I've got to try it on my 1080 machine out back. It worked worse than it worked on virtual desktop. Somehow, I guess they were doing some sort of weird rendering everything twice. And the way that he was doing virtual desktop, it only had to render it once, and it was far smoother an experience. So it's like, I give that guy huge props and hope him nothing but success in the future. I use virtual desktop almost every day.
Yeah, and then there's stuff like this game right here. I just put on a new trailer where I don't know if you've tried this, but on Steam there's a demo for Eye of the Temple, I think it's called.
Yep. I've downloaded it. I haven't played it yet, but the room scale experience.
Yeah,
yes.
and this is.
I want to give that.
It's really good room scale, and honestly, I think the absolute best way to play this would be with a Quest with virtual desktop, so you just have pure freedom of movement, and you got a big open space. I haven't tried it yet. I mean, I've tried this game on my Valve Index, but I haven't tried it on the Quest in that sort of way. Man, this is such a crazy day and such a crazy situation that we're looking at here. So what else?
Kid in a candy shop, my man.
Yeah. So are you going to try to order one of these immediately? And how do you think that's going to work? Like, do you think you're going to be able to... Do you think somebody can go to a Best Buy this Wednesday and buy one? I mean, that sounds kind of crazy, but if that was to happen, wouldn't we already see like somebody takes a photo somewhere of some Best Buy with like a little tag? Like there would already be something on Reddit, wouldn't there?
Yeah, it's kind of confusing how this rollout is going to fly, but you'd imagine like they did the same thing when the Rift S was going to become the new hotness. They got rid of all the original Rifts, and there was that little dry spell for a minute, and then suddenly you can run out the same day as the both the Rift S and the Quest launched on the same day. Remember that madness?
Yeah,
and
it was only 480 days ago. It was only 480 days ago. Oh my!
And I bought both. In fact, I bought one for my sister. So like I'm fully vested in this stuff, dude. And here's the thing I don't get from people who like, what am I going to do with this old one? I got to sell it. I got to get rid of it. I can't have it around. It's like, do you not have parties? Do you not have group events where you can have local VR as the thing that you use? How about a Star Trek bridge crew night where everybody's in your house playing a part of the bridge crew? You know, it's like that's badass. That's and remember that Dead and Buried, like people have completely forgotten about that Dead and Buried multiplayer session that OC5 had. That was phenomenal. I got to play it. I was expecting it to come out at some point. It never shipped.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where is
we
that
also
thing?
have
Well, if you get enough headsets out there, you can do it in, you know, your local park.
Yeah, I actually was thinking about that today, the exact thing that you just brought up. Like, I'm thinking, what am I going to do with my Quest? Because, you know, I'm thinking, God damn it, because there's different ways to think about it. This little bracket always slips off. But there's different ways to think about it. It's like, I can sell this right now, you know, try to sell this on Craigslist, try to sell this on eBay or whatever. But part of me feels like a major asshole if like I sell this to somebody and they have no knowledge of the freaking Quest 2. I feel like I don't know what the Quest 2 is. I never told you about the Quest 2. You know, like no, this is freaking state of the art, man. Yeah, you buy this, it's state. Like, I feel really bad about that. So I can't do that. I'd have to tell the person there is this thing called the Quest 2. And honestly, you're a million times better off buying that than you are this. So then how do I sell this? So what I was thinking of is I was kind of thinking of what you're saying where, like, part of me, okay, so sometimes I have people that come over and I think I should let them try my Quest. And then I think, nah, maybe I shouldn't because I got it set perfectly for me. This is my primary thing. People screw things up, you know, or they accidentally get sunlight on it or whatever. And so if you end up with this not being your primary one, then now you have a backup and you're like, yeah, I got my Quest 2 over there. That's the one I don't let anybody try. I let them try this one. But at the same time, I still will feel buyer's remorse because this is only 480 days old and I've invested 700 buccarinos roughly in this freaking thing. And did I get my $700 worth? Well, if you gave me 700 days, I could say that I got $1 a day out of this baby. But you only gave me 480 days with it. I mean, I know.
Wow,
No,
dude.
I know. I'm
First world problems in the majority.
Yeah, buddy.
Good gravy. You can still play that thing and plug it into any PC and you've got the best headset you can buy. You know, it's like
with half the resolution, yeah, half the resolution at 72 hertz.
It's better than the original Rift.
Yeah, I wonder what people are going to do. What is everybody else going to do with their Quests? Do you think they'll just do you think like eBay's been flooded with Quests today?
Can we go on the Webinator and find out?
We could. The
Let's
problem is
eBay.
if I go to the Webinator, it'll take you off of here because I don't think. Let me see. Guest one. Let me see if I have a Twitch guest. Okay, wait. No, that's just I'm seeing if I have a Twitch web browser. Oh, okay. Let me hold on 1 second here. I need to grab a 1 second. Let me get a Chrome browser. And
because I have a funny feeling there's been a flood.
Oh, dude, there's got to be, and Craigslist and all of that. There's got to be a million of them. I'm trying to get this Chrome browser to show up in here. Hold on a sec.
But I have another friend I talked to, and he's like, unless there's something cool about it I don't know, I have no interest in upgrading because I can do all my PC gaming with the current Quest, and I'm fine. I mean, he's probably one of those people who, like, if he doesn't see the improvement, it doesn't exist.
Newly listed.
And he's fine with it as it is.
Okay, yeah. So I'm looking at newly listed. 1 of 48, 901 results. So like these are all. So Oculus Quest 128 gig, 238 with $10. Dude, look at that. With a freaking pack and everything, homie. That is, look at how much, look at how it has fallen. Wow. Okay, well no, they got to buy it now for 400, and then they got a starting bid at $238 with basically like $11 shipping. How the mighty has fallen. Oh my god. These are 128 gig versions. Here's one for 225 bucks, or it's got a 500 buy it now. But yeah, dude, I guarantee you all these people like Patkey 7227, dude was on Upload today. You know what I'm saying? Dude, like all these people know. Like these people know. But there are always people out there that are late to the party and they're not paying attention. Like here's somebody with a 128 gig Quest for 550 bucks. Actually, you know what I should look at is people that sold one. Let me look for completed auctions, completed items, or sold items.
But here's another concern of mine. I have a modded Beat Saber, and Beat Saber is owned by Facebook now. And do you think they're going to start looking at, because they've already talked, we're going to make side loading easier for you, but are they going to make Beat Saber modding easier for me? I don't think so. So like my old Quest, I can put whatever song I want on that thing.
Ah, yeah.
Can I do that with the new Quest?
So you can advertise that when you're selling it on eBay as a better advantage. Okay, I'm
loaded with 400 songs.
There are some people that have sold Quests today. On September 14th, somebody sold a 64 gig version for $315 with like $18 shipping. You know, so people are selling them, and some people might say, dude, immediately list it. List that shit right now. Sell this shit right now. Let me look at Craigslist and see in my area if people are selling any on Craigslist. Craigslist. And Oculus Quest. I'm sure, dude, there's always people that immediately do this. Oculus Quest. Yeah, so not too many on Craigslist. So I guess there's going to be a new one on Craigslist, guys, later tonight. Yeah, buddy. But yeah, this is crazy, man. God, this is so amazing.
What if it drops Wednesday? Are you buying it Wednesday? Are you going to stop watching the live stream, go out and find it, hunt the sucker down?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I do want to buy one of these immediately. I do feel like there's a possibility, though, that like it will not work with my IPD because it could work with my IPD with that little. We think that it's got these 3 settings. It's got like medium, small, and large. So I think it'll work from that standpoint. But the other standpoint is I think when you do have a wider IPD, you actually do get screwed in the field of view department. Like your field of view is just less, period. It's just science, you know? So if you had a really tiny field of view, a really tiny IPD, you're going to have a better field of view, period. That's just the way it is. Otherwise, you got to get your eyeballs so close to the freaking screen not to lose that field of view. What is your IPD at? Do you remember? Or do you know?
Yeah, 68.
Okay, so you're a bit on the higher side, so you might get boned a little bit too.
I can definitely see the binocular effect in the Quest.
Yeah.
You know, you put it on, you're looking through a pair of binoculars into a new world versus being in the new world.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, I'd like to buy one immediately. Just even if I realize this isn't going to work for me, like maybe if I could buy it at a Best Buy, that would be nice. Because like I bought a Rift S from Amazon, and it didn't work for me, and I just sent it back to Amazon. So you know, if I have to do that, I'll have to do that. But because I want to feel how much lighter. Do I really notice a difference? Does it really more comfortable? Like, do you think based on what you've seen in these videos and stuff, do you really think? We heard, I think 15% smaller, 20% lighter, maybe, or it was one of those two. Do you think that's going to...
I have no doubt that it's more comfortable, but my question is, are they going to bone VR cover their boys, or are they and or are they going to do the foam thing, or are they going to do the pleather thing? Because at this point, come on, the default should be the pleather thing with the option to buy more and replace it. Because like I've got tons of VR covers, so when I do have friends over, instead of wiping off the one I've got, I just tear it off and put a new one on for
Dude,
them.
VR Cover
So,
loves this stuff because now guess what? Because I mean,
mm,
I bought a deluxe VR cover on this one, and I
mm,
bought it. Like I didn't get a free one. I have gotten one free VR cover for like an Oculus Go, but I was like, and I could have contacted them, and I probably would have gotten a free one. But for me, I don't like being like in debt to these companies where I got to give them like a positive review and I've got to kiss their ass and all of that. I don't want to do that. So I paid like $35 to get this puppy shipped, and it's not going to work on this new one. It's not going to fit it. The thing is, you can tell how much smaller it is. There's no way this is going to fit in there the right way. And then also, if you look at that, one of the things, like they talk about how it's more comfortable. Well, they may have
mhm.
boned VR cover in a slight degree from a standpoint that they might have just opted to have a much more plush and fluffy face gasket just as standard to like help
Mhm.
with the comfort. Like they might have thought, well, one way we can make it more comfortable is just we'll have a much more fluffy, padded face gasket that'll make it a lot more nicer. And then, yeah, in that case, VR cover does get boned a little bit. But what VR cover can offer, though, is like red ones and purple ones and blue ones, to kind of jazz it up a little bit if you want. What do you think?
As long as that gasket still comes out the way the old one does. Like it'll be a new gasket. You might still be able to use, because I've used my Rift VR cover on my Quest, because it's just the gasket that changed. I just rip off and put on the Velcro, um
But it's
the
not like
new covering.
squunched up or anything like when you...
Uh, Not really. I mean, you have to you have to jimmy it a little bit,
Yeah.
but like it works. It does its job. And when I have a group of people going through the thing, I prefer to have multiples of that. I also got that surgical plastic version of the VR cover, the one that you sweat in.
Oh, yeah.
it's it's interesting. It's kind of cool, but like I do
What do
sweat
you
a lot.
think about the color of this thing? Like white? Like, I just...
It's going to get
Yeah,
scuffed.
it's gonna get all kinds of like smudges and like oily fingers and just... God, it's gonna be a mess after about 6 months.
Well, that's the thing that kind of convinced me that this was going to be between the Go that they discontinued and the Quest that they have. Like this was going to be the Quest Lite, and so it's just the look of it. The look on the outside is cheap as hell, and the look on the inside is going to be phenomenal. Hopefully, I mean, they changed the angle of the USB connector, so that's smart. That's going to now go sideways instead of up and down, which was always kind of weird. Um, what's on the other side? Like,
Yeah, I
have
don't
you
know that we've
noticed
ever seen
they
it,
only
right?
have no, they
They do?
show it in the
Okay.
video. There's one audio jack, but on the other side, there's a little dot, and it looks like what you'd see as a microphone on headsets. Like if you look at the mic on most headsets, it's just a single hole, pinhole. But what's it doing over here? I don't quite get that.
Yeah, we know there's going to be like a new advanced Guardian that where you can actually like put your sofas in it and stuff. So there's going to be some
Hmm.
more advanced things that this is going to do. And then also, I think the XR2 is going to help when you're just in the menu and stuff. And you're like moving around the menu. I think all of that's going to be a lot zippier, a lot faster, a lot less delays. Like there's going to be a lot of little things, and the more
Yeah.
ergonomic controllers. The controllers might have a stronger rumble. There's going to be all kinds of little things that we're going to find out later where people are going to
Hmm.
feel a little bit crunchy if they don't get this new baby. Now they did mention the Tale of the Curious Seven Pets or whatever that game's called,
Mhm.
and they mentioned they mentioned playing it with like almost 4K resolution and all of that. So that's a game that would have probably have been enhanced. So there's got to be these enhanced games, and so all of that. This is gonna be so weird, man. It's gonna be so weird.
Well, the ecosystem, the thing of it is, Anthony, we're still baby steps. We're really at the beginning of all of this. And I gave a friend of mine um, my old um, Windows um, Windows headset, the Explorer, the Lenovo, yeah, the Lenovo Explorer. I had one of those headsets that I bought for $100 when they were super cheap, and it didn't have controllers. I gave it to a friend of mine, but in giving it to him, I was thinking about the fact that, okay, getting it into the Windows Cliff House, that's super easy. But then he has to think about all the extra steps of, getting the software for launching Steam games in the Cliff House. And, if he wants to go to Oculus, he has to get Revive. Like jumping in anywhere for a newbie, there's a lot of learning and work that has to go into it. Facebook has created like the premium one-stop shop. It's like all the premium games are right here. You can go out there into the Wild West and get Steam to load up and make all that work. But like if you just want to play VR with no questions asked in one of the best experiences you can get, here's your one-stop shop. So I think that's why they're putting so many ducats down on this baby. And I bet you on this iteration, they're going to do that thing you wish they had done on the first iteration. They're going to hit the gas hard. They're going to produce a lot of these things. Because if they're doing this chip, they had to get it cheap. And the only way to get it cheap is to buy a hell of a lot of them. So I think this is going to be
You know what?
let's see what this baby
Yeah,
can do.
I have a prediction here. Like, this is not logical to me. Let me go back into one of my little rants. So this is not logical, ladies and gentlemen. So like I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, how is this humanly possible? How do you get an XR2 into a headset and sell it for 200 like it doesn't compute. It really doesn't. Like there's just like, okay, Apple is the only way I can justify it. They know that Apple is dropping a bomb tomorrow and they're trying to get in front of that bomb and they're trying to weather the storm because there's going to be an effing storm coming at them. That's one possibility. Another possibility is they've signed some kind of contract with Qualcomm. They've signed some kind of deal with Qualcomm that is like a 10-year deal for like exclusive chip supplier for AR and VR headsets for like the next 10 years. And because they've signed this like long-term deal, they've gotten an incredible sweetheart deal on getting XR2s by the millions for this headset, because otherwise I don't understand like how no seriously, like they couldn't put an XR2 in a $399 Quest, but now they're going to put it in a $299 Quest, unless that price is a bunch of bullshit and like Zuck gets up on stage on Wednesday and this freaking Quest 2 is 500, even 599. Like if I said this 4 months ago that Oculus could make a headset that would be $599 with the XR2, people in chat would be like, they can't do it for $599. It'd have to be like $799 or something. Like, it's so crazy.
Well, price is the one thing they did not announce. So if they do announce those $399 and $299 price points, dude, it's still going to get the applause point that they were hoping for. So that's why this leak is no leak. Have you noticed that there's more than just 2 videos? They have a hand tracking video. There's other videos that have been released since.
And so that goes back to this Apple thing. What do you think about Apple, man? I mean, like, so a long time ago when people first said Apple in VR, did you just start giggling immediately? Because that's what I did. I never, ever would have thought that Apple would have a VR product. I just, like, when I think of Apple, I don't think of something like VR. That just seems like so foreign to their entire, like, nah. AR, sure. AR makes sense.
Well, did they actually mention VR? Because I thought what they mentioned was that in this conference there was going to be some AR announcement. But did they mention that there's going to be a
Well,
VR
here's what they
announcement?
mentioned, Chris. SR. Simulated reality. Did you find it? Yeah, Apple has a new term. Okay, there's AR, there's VR, there's MR, but Apple's like, nah, we're coming up with something new. SR, simulated reality. So MRTV, you need a new channel. SRTV, baby. You need XRTV, SRTV. Like, how many different phrases are there? It's crazy.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I love it. It's like if there is competition, bring it on. Let's see these two titans fight. Because, like you said, Facebook has been just running away with it, and everybody feels that there needs to be another a contender in the
See,
marketplace.
Apple
But
bought the company that made that totem headset, VR Vana, and VR Vana.
mhm.
So VR Vana was making this headset, and I don't know if they had like a Kickstarter or something, but they were basically doing this headset that featured AR in VR. Apple happened to buy them. They immediately stopped. The headset never came out.
Mm.
There. I mean, Apple's been just acquiring all these different VR companies over like the last 4 or 5 years, and then also there's like some Apple. There's some people within Apple's organization that are their titles were changed to AR/VR. It's happening, man. Apple is doing VR. I know it sounds effing crazy, but they're doing VR, and the only way I can
They aren't doing it cheap though.
yeah.
They're not doing it for $2.99.
Yeah, they don't have to. They don't have to do that.
Guarantee. Yeah,
Yeah, so
but
it's crazy. But yeah, man, I guess we pretty much covered most of the stuff here. I mean, I know there's a million other questions I can possibly go to. Like, I had a million different things to think about, like so many different angles to think about this thing. But
here's the thing.
what,
I backed VR ears, and it's been delayed till next year. And the device that I backed it for is no longer in
oh
production.
my God, yeah. There's going to be a lot of little things. Well, think of all the developers. Like, think of all the developers that are like working on a high-end Quest game, knew nothing about this, and now all of a sudden they got to think, wait, do I still make this Quest version? Do I upgrade it to an XR2? Now, the thing is, it's in the Qualcomm family, and I guarantee you that Qualcomm designed this in such a way where if you make an XR2 game, it can automatically probably port down to the 835, and it's just almost automatically adjusted. Hopefully, I mean, we got like, or where it's not like redoing the entire game. It's like, oh, you got to spend like a couple of weeks to alter it, and you can get it on that Snapdragon 835. We've got to hope that that's like, that could be the spin. Like, they're going to have some kind of spin to calm everybody's nerves about, the Oculus Quest, all the people out there that have Oculus Quest, and they think, man, they're not going to make games for us anymore. They're going to be making it for the XR2, and then we're just going to get the watered down crap. And so Oculus is going to have to convince people that no, we've got a plan. It's going to smoothly pour it on down. So like, maybe they'll show samples. Maybe they'll show samples of Medal of Honor or something, or Lone Echo 1 or something running on both the XR2 and the 835, and saying, we ported it over. It only took a week. It's running on the 835. Yeah, the better experience is on the XR2. We're not going to deny that. But everybody that has a Quest 1, you're still going to be able to play it.
Well, remember, Saints and Sinners is coming out. It's still coming to the Quest. Hasn't landed yet, so what's it going to do? Is it going to like extend and wait until it has a version that works with with the new device, or is it just going to launch as is and then there'll be an update with a better graphic fidelity for new
You would
people?
have to,
Who
yeah,
knows?
you'd have to imagine that Oculus would go to certain special developers that they really like put a lot of faith in or whatever, and they might have like leaked this information and said, look, sign these NDAs. Here's the Quest 2. We want you, like, for example, Vertical Robot, developers of Red Matter, they might have went to them
Mhm.
privately, had said you got to sign all these non-disclosures, and then bam, here's the Quest 2. What we want you to do is to rework Red Matter, and we'll give you like so much money or whatever. We want you to make a really banging port of Red Matter that takes full advantage of the XR2, make it look a lot more snazzy. And they could do that with some of their most preferred developers. So somebody like Skydance Interactive that's making Saints and Sinners, that's such a big deal, they could have went to them. But yeah, as a developer, you do have this like additional headache. And then like what we were talking about with Gaming Science Teacher. Oh, the Quest 2 hand tracking is so much better. So now you have a game that comes out that uses hand tracking. It works on Quest 1, it works on Quest 2, but the person that has Quest 2, like they're moving their hands around, it's freaking tracking it flawlessly. The person that's playing it on Quest 1, they're moving their hands around and it's like, oh, I lost my hand a little bit. Oh, this hand is overlapping this hand. The other person's getting a flaw.
Mm.
Like there is going to be a have and have nots. And if somebody tells me that there isn't going to be a have and have nots, then I'm going to ask you, well, then why are we buying this thing? Like, isn't this Quest 2? Didn't they call it the Quest 2? So there's no easy way out of this. There's no way out of this where everybody is happy. It's impossible.
There are people who are saying they would buy a Quest 2 simply for comfort. Or they would buy the Quest 1.5 simply if it was more comfortable than the old Quest. There are people planning on updating this thing no matter what it was, Anthony. And what they're doing is giving us more than we ever dreamed. So why is that a bad thing? I cannot get behind the idea that they have boned everybody.
They haven't boned everybody. They haven't
doing...
boned everybody, just a couple of million. No, but you know what actually is one good point of this too? Is okay, so we talked about the Quest being damn near worthless right now, which it's going to take a while for that to filter out to everybody, where it's like, damn, dude, I want to sell my Quest, but I can only get $175 for it. But the good news of that is, think of all the people that they don't have $400 for a VR headset, and now they can get a Quest 1. And there's a lot of mom and dads, and for example, like my brother, like he's barely ever used VR ever, hardly knows anything about it. But like if he can buy a Quest 1 for $175, maybe he does, And so, and I was thinking of this amnesty program, right, that Oculus could do, where they buy everybody's Quest and they give them a voucher for, like you can get a Quest 2 for only $150. Just give us your Quest, right? And then all of a sudden we find out there's a ton of Quests in Honduras. They're all over the Honduras. They're all over Singapore. They're all over Indonesia or whatever. They take them to these third world countries and just...
Or more likely, give them to the people like Gaming Science Teacher who's looking for them because they can't use the Facebook logon device.
Yeah.
And that becomes an option for them. I don't know. Yeah, that's a great idea. I doubt we're going to get any.
If they did have...
Because we're already getting a killer deal. It's like, you want a killer deal on top of a killer deal?
Well, but we're talking about somebody that bought a Quest, some random soccer mom that bought a Quest in late April of this year. I think she's got to feel a little bit boned, especially if she bought it for her kid that pays attention to all this stuff and realizes, oh, damn, I got boned. There's a Quest 2 now. But yeah, it's just one of those things.
Nobody could have predicted it. It's like the pandemic.
Nostradamus Jr. could have predicted it, but he didn't. He said this was a 1.5, and he said he was going to eat a face gasket if he was wrong. So I guess I got to get some A1 sauce and butter it up. because that's what I got to do.
I'll tune into that show. Let me know when it's airing.
Yeah, I think I'll skip that one, or I think I'll make a fake. I'll get one of those, like a fruit roll up, and I'll cut it out in the shape of a face gasket. I'll be like, yeah, I'm eating a face gasket, guys, but I'm eating a fruit roll up.
So, are you getting the boys back together for a show on Wednesday? Is that what I hear?
Well, it's not going to be Wednesday. It's hopefully going to be either Saturday or Sunday. And I'm still working on it. We might have a bit of a problem because Steve has a bit of some scheduling issues. So we're trying to figure it out. But we'll try to figure out something. And worst case scenario, if Steve misses it, maybe I'll be able to have Steve for like a one-on-one breakdown like a week later or something like that. So we'll figure something out. We're going to try to do our best. But
that'd be cool. Love to see you guys hash it out.
Yeah, especially once we know all the particulars, we know the exact resolution, we know the refresh rate, we know if there's eye tracking, we know if it's going to do live maps, if it's going to do any kind of advanced avatar thing. How bad is the have and have nots going to be? Does it have any launch games specifically that only work on Quest 2? Like, that's a big question. Will there be games that only work on Quest 2? That's kind of crazy. Probably not. There'll be games that are enhanced for Quest 2. Enhanced for Quest 2.
That's probably the wisest move.
But it'll be on Quest 1. But yeah, I got to get out of here because I got to eat some grubbage. I'm starving like Marvin. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, everybody. But thanks for tuning in. Chris Richardson, absolutely appreciate having you. Of course, I definitely appreciate having Gaming Science Teacher on earlier as well. This was a ton of fun. I will be back. I'll be doing more of these things as we get more info. I'll probably just wait for Wednesday. Unless Apple really drops a bomb tomorrow, then you'll see me here tomorrow night talking about Apple VR. I've got my pre-order in at $699.99. That was my prediction.
Mm-hmm.
So
cool, man.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it for this episode of VR365. And we will see everybody next time. So everybody have a good one. Take it easy. Later.